Welcome along to episode 865 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. Coming up on the show this week, we find out all about the talented Mr. Ripley. It's on at the Grand in April with Ed Mcvey, Masie Smith, and Bruce Herbelin-Earle as part of the cast, and they're going to be absolutely amazing. We'll be hearing from Anna Richardson, who you all know from Naked Attraction, alongside Dr. Moa Ali as we talk about Exomind and how magnetic waves could help you sleep. Janet Street Porter is along to let us know about her show Unleashed. We'll be getting a few side hustle bits of tips and advice from Joanna Page, of course, Stacey from Gavin and Stacey. We find out about the King Stone as well, a tour heading across the region and stopping off at the Stafford Gatehouse with a play set in the Midlands. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
With a world of deception arriving at the Grand Theatre from the 20th through to the 25th of April, the talented Mr. Ripley will be on stage. I'm joined now by three other number from the cast: Bruce Herbelin-Earle, Masie Smith, and Ed Mcvey. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Right, okay, who's going to start telling us a little bit about this whole experience? Because, I mean, this is an experience show, particularly because many will have seen the talented Mr. Ripley in its other forms as well.
Yeah, I'll go. I would say this is definitely very different to any of the other iterations that have come before. I mean, it's never been done on stage before, so inherently being on stage will make it more theatrical and I think more exciting. I think just the way it's been written, you very much connect with Tom Ripley and you get inside his head and hopefully understand him a little bit better. So yeah, it's a whole new experience, I'd say.
But we're transported to the 1950s in Italy, and the story is bigger than just one place, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we tell it all through lighting and clever staging and very minimalist props and things like that. So yeah, the audience are we leave a lot of it to the audience's imagination, but with Mark's direction and the sound design and the lighting design by Holly Pigott, we have created something hopefully very palpable and will leave the audience thinking about the show when they've left.
Yeah, Masie, is this a lifestyle that you would like to lead?
What, Italy in the 50s?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first scene, I'm just sunbathing, and I'm like, this is lush.
There is lots of sunbathing.
This is great.
It is nice.
I have to wake up because there's 1,000 people watching, and I've got to say my first line. But yeah, it's beautiful, and I think even though as Bruce said, it's quite a minimalist set design. It does feel. It encaptures you watching it, and I think we don't need, crazy props and anything to tell the story. The atmosphere is sold itself just by obviously Mark's directing and these cracking actors.
These lovely chaps.
It's a storyteller's piece, isn't it? This is not for an actor who delivers lines. This is for an actor who tells a story.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
How do you approach something like this? Obviously, you've got amazing direction, and you'll be coming to it fresh every night because that's the sort of the mindset that you guys will be using to make sure you tell this tale well. But what is there that you can do to get into this headspace? Watching The Traitors probably helps because of the white lies. I mean, that's the thing. Isn't it?
Oh yeah, that always helps.
You have a great you in particular have a great warm up. He's got his routines, and
that's true. Yeah.
And from watching you do your things, I'm like, oh man, I need to figure out my little routine. And so I've now figured out my little routine.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have your own routine, right?
Yeah.
We
just have a coffee and go.
Do you know what? I actually sometimes think, even no matter how tired you are, I think the joy of live theatre is that you could be exhausted, you could be just physically and mentally drained, but as soon as you're out there, it becomes so real. And just even having an audience watching you, you're just in it immediately. And by the end of the show, we're all on such a high because it's so enjoyable to get to tell this story every day. And so I don't necessarily have a routine. I think just being out here is
Oh, wow, well,
Yeah.
that's the answer. That's the answer.
Maze needs
You heard it here first.
much less preparation time.
Yeah. We need a lot more of a run up.
Professional,
Professional,
semi at most.
The other way around, maybe.
There'll be dancing involved at some point. Then Masie will once again fly. But,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
but it's a story which has got many layers. The psychology behind it, again, that's something to understand. And do you almost feel caught out and taken aback when you get the twists and turns in the story? Is it like it's happening to you?
It's nice, I think. I mean, I wouldn't say that I get like surprised by because obviously we know it so well, but it's nice
you've
to
learned the
hear
script, yeah.
the audience, the penny dropping. I've learned the script.
She knows his lines.
I know most of them, but it's nice to hear when it hits for the audience, and when they realize something, or when you create a certain unease of the atmosphere, and when the shift in the room changes. That's a really satisfying moment.
When you hear the gasps. you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is good."
Yeah, when you know people are really like listening, I think that's always nice.
And with 2 1-hour acts, it's quite long for a play as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's a lot, so much happens.
I've heard it fly by.
been trying to make it short, but you can't. There's nothing to take out because it's
It's already incredibly vacuum packed, and because
so fast as well.
yeah, and it is. And the pace of it, there's a real like fire underneath it. But yeah, it is long, but there's so much story there. And because it's like Mark, our adapter and director, kind of took the book and tried to make that into a play, and the book's like 600 pages long. So you're putting that into a, I don't know, 2.5 hour, 2 hour show. Like it's and trying to get it all in there, because it all pushes itself forward. So it's hard to cut things, because then you miss.
Yeah.
Things start to get blurry.
It sounds like this is going to be amazing for audience who's coming to this fresh, but anybody who's already heard the story, it's how you tell it, I think, that's going to be the important part for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very different to any adaptation.
Yeah. I think because we've chosen to stylistically change it to anything that's been done before, immediately your kind of preconceptions of any other version of it kind of get blown out the water, because we're not trying to imitate anything. And obviously they know who the characters are, so hopefully they can just latch onto the characters and then use their imagination for the rest of it.
And how does it go with the clothing and the look and that feel of it? We've talked about the sets and the minimalistic take on it, but the outfits on this make a difference, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. Again, everything's very simplistic, very easy to wash at the end of a run.
You're giving the game away there. Yeah.
There we go. Ed has quite a lot of costume changes on stage, but the clothes and everything are very simplistic but very beautiful to look at. Everything works. Each character has their own kind of theme, naturally, as you do in this kind of medium. And I like my costume. I mean, it fits me for one.
Oh yeah, you've got a lovely costume. We all do.
Does this mean you're going to try and sneak off with some of this at the end of the run? There's going to be
Maybe there's
Well, I mean, he wears it 9 times a week, so maybe not.
Yeah, it'll probably run away from him by the end.
Battered.
But the look is one that you would gladly take home.
They are nice. They are nice looks.
Yeah, well, I had a mate come to see it. He was like, I need your entire wardrobe and where you got it. So I chatted to the costume department, and they very gracefully gave me all the links to all my shirts and trousers, and I just sent them off to my friend, and he was like, thank you, that's what I'm going to be wearing next summer.
Mine was all actually from that era. And my shirt is actually a retro item, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Thank you.
We like a bit of vintage. Vintage works, doesn't it?
Vintage.
It certainly does.
Right, you guys have an amazing time with it. Break a leg. Enjoy the tour. Enjoy everywhere you get to go to. Wolverhampton is going to be an absolute treat from the 20th through to the 25th of April. 01902 429212 is the box office number. grandtheatre.co.uk is where you get your tickets. Make it an absolute must-see, because you will be wowed. You'll be taken in by the magical psychological theme of it all, and you never know, you might even see a murder or two. Ed, Bruce and Masie, thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
New research is showing that around half of women are looking for a side hustle to bring some extra cash in, and there's all sorts of other queries around women's availability when it comes to funds, particularly in later life. Somebody I'm hoping has planned for the future is the one and only Joanna Page, you'll know from Gavin and Stacey and a forthcoming series of Taskmaster. Good afternoon to you.
Hello.
So first of all, Joanna, when it comes to the side hustle, you often play characters, I suppose, who have got their own little space in the world, haven't they? And they do tend to look after themselves.
Well, they do. I think you could completely imagine Stacey and Nessa having their own side hustle going on, definitely. But what's been brilliant is that Scottish widows have done this interesting new research which has shown that us Brits, and particularly 1 in 5 women, are wanting to increase our income through, passion projects, side hustles, and that's, so that we are going to be investing in our future, which is what we're all thinking about, what I'm thinking about, because I've got 4 children, and what with looking after them, and then also thinking about, retiring maybe one day, hopefully in the future, investing and having my own side hustle, aside from just being an actress, is something which is really important to me.
Absolutely. Well, mind you, in the world of acting, though, you're expected to carry on till you're on death's door, and then they release something posthumously.
Yes, you are. And these days as well, though, you can have so many. I mean, I think when I grew up, I thought, oh, yes, this is just my one job. But now, I mean, there are so many different things going on. I mean, women take time off, to have children, and then you go back to work and get back into your job. But, to have little side hustles and things like that. I've just launched a new podcast. I'm going to be writing another book. I want to do presenting. So I don't think you have to just stick to the one thing. And then any extra money that you make from all of that, I mean, it's brilliant to then just invest and think about and be mindful about your future.
In the world of acting, it is something that you do have to plan for. Due to your huge talent, you've had some absolutely massive roles. I mean, the whole Stacey thing, I think, is going to live with you forever. But it is then looking towards the next project and knowing how you can balance all that out financially.
Well, it is, because acting is so unpredictable. And I think when you are investing or wanting to have a side hustle, you shouldn't really think about everything being perfect and having a big pot of money. I think it's very important to just think, start small and start now. And start when you're young as well. I mean, with my children, they might have, £5 in a birthday card from their Auntie Pam. And it's like, okay, then, well, we'll spend a little bit of that on a toy. And then the rest in, you can put in your piggy bank, or then let's look and see what we can do. All right, let's see what we can save or what we can invest, even if it's a couple of pounds. Start small and start now is what I say to my children.
Then, you're really in a position to sort of govern your own future in a good way and know that you've got a better chance as you do. Reach those years when you want to put your feet up and maybe retire to Barry Island, Joanna. That could be a good thing to do.
I know, but with 4 children, I'm not sure I'm ever going to get the chance to retire. But even if you don't have a lot of money coming in from the side hustles, I, in my life now, do quite a few savvy little swaps. So, I mean, I won't be, going and, buying a coffee every single morning on my way to work, or I'll be filling up my own water bottle in the house, and I won't be buying water, when I'm out and about. For the panto this year with 4 children, normally I will buy little wands, for them to be waving around while they watch the show. Well, this year, I just kept the ones from last year, changed the batteries, gave them out to my little 4-year-old, and she was perfectly happy hitting my husband in the head with them. So even if you don't have a big pot of money to start investing with, savvy little swaps will, really help you to save the money as well.
Yeah, even down to reusable cups these days, they will save you money on your drinks going forward, because you often get extra points if you do treat yourself to a coffee.
Yeah. I mean, you do. So any little extra thing like that, swaps. I mean, even things like, don't get your nails done all of the time, or not having your haircut every single 6 weeks, or just small little things like that. Just get all of the extra little pounds still in your pocket that you can then think about investing in the future with.
What else is going on? We know Taskmaster's on the way, but you are everywhere at the minute. I spent Christmas watching you.
Well, yes, I've got Taskmaster, which is coming out quite soon, but my paperback will be coming out round about June, and as I said, I've just launched my very own podcast, just me on my own. I'm on about my 4th episode. My first guest was the other day, and it was my husband. So if you want to hear about a life with 4 guinea pigs, bickering with a husband from Bradford, trying to look after 4 children, and trying to get out there and work as well, then I think my new podcast, Lush, is the one for you.
Absolutely, it does sound down, Lusha. It's always good to hear your voice and see what else was going on in your world. That's a good way of doing things. But the book itself, what are we looking out for on the book? Because obviously we can probably pre-order that on Amazon now, can't we?
Oh, well, my hardback came out just before Christmas. I became an instant Sunday Times bestseller, and the book is called Lash. So the hardback is out now, and the paperback will be coming out in June. So all good bookshops, Amazon, wherever you want to, you can grab a copy of Lash.
Well, Joanna Page, a star to the world. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Now, The King's Stone is a new play rooted in the landscapes and communities of the East Midlands. It's making its way over to Staffordshire and the Stafford Gatehouse on the 23rd and 24th of February. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Ali Michael and Hannah Stone. Good afternoon to you both.
Hiya.
Right, so first of all, who can tell me a bit about this project and how it has all come about? Because the tour, which is heading across the part of the region, is in the heart of where the story's set.
It is. It's a show that we've been developing for a few years now, and it's set on the Stanton Moors in Derbyshire, which is not that far from where I grew up. I grew up in Chesterfield, and the play came into the Nottingham Playhouse when I was working there. There was an open ideas submission, and I read kind of 10 pages of it and just really connected with it, being from the place. Kind of really brought it to life for me, and I thought it was a fantastic piece of writing. And that was a few years ago now, so we've been developing it since then over a few research and development periods, including one at the National Theatre. And now we're at a point where we've been lucky enough, well, the brilliant Ali has secured the Arts Council funding for us to fully realise the show and tour it in the Midlands.
And Ali, when it comes to this piece, obviously Arts Council funding is there to help bring this to life, but it is going to be well received, and I am sure is going to engage with the audience in a way that as soon as word of mouth gets out, this will be a very, very full tour.
Yeah, it will be well, I'm really hoping that it'll be a really full tour. We're doing alongside the Arts Council, the National Lottery Fund has given us some funding to do like a community outreach project with mental health and men's groups around the region. And that involves us working with them to co-design this talking bench that's touring with the production. So we've had, in the last 6 months, lots of drop-in sessions and creative workshop sessions with local groups like Men in Sheds and with like Derby County Community and a really great company called Tough Enough to Care. All people who have set up either community trusts or their own charities to support men and women who are struggling with their mental health. So that's what we're hoping to engage people in, both as audience members and within the communities around the venues that we're touring to.
Yeah, and then Hannah, obviously, as soon as you read this piece, you knew it was going to reach out and touch people, whether they themselves have been affected by mental health or any of the other issues that are contained here, or whether they are hearing the story to allowing them to understand others. And again, with everything the cast are going to put themselves through as part of bringing this to life, it's obviously going to be. It's going to take a lot of energy to bring this to the stage.
Yeah, it's a two-hander, so they're on stage for about an hour and 15 minutes and they never leave. And the story follows the couple, Kristen and Phil, from when they're 11 years old to when they're in their 30s. And it tracks their relationship, and they meet every Sunday at the Stone Circle, the 9 Lady Stone Circle in Stanton Moor. And their relationship kind of grows and struggles, and we see them grow up together and how their relationship kind of changes and forms over that kind of life, like 20 years. It's a big chunk of their lives, and how obviously with Phil, he's struggling with his mental health, although it's not necessarily clear to Kristen, but we see he sees this mysterious figure, because there's also a folklore element to the play about a king that's trapped between worlds that supposedly roams the moors. And Phil sees this character, so he's also troubled by that figure that he sees, that shadow that he sees when he's there.
with the cast you have playing these parts, Callum Lill, known for the likes of Coronation Street and Hollyoaks as Phil, and Charlotte East, who's been in the likes of Henry VIII, Packardin, and Twelfth Night as Kristen. Obviously, a talented lineup here, and so they're 85 minutes on stage, and they're going to feel like both long and fast 85 minutes, aren't they, Ali?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're thrilled with the cast. Charlotte is the writer. She's the performer and the writer. So it's a really personal story to her. It's come from a place of sort of her own experiences with friends and people that she grew up with who she maybe lost touch with. And Callum we found through an audition process. And he's a fantastic actor. And as Hannah was talking about, it spans 20 years of their life. So we're asking these actors to play 12-year-olds at some point, and then their own age, 30 at another point, and having that sort of energy that you can be both completely innocent and naive, and also then be grown up and stoic. It was quite a difficult process to find a male actor who can do that range, but Callum is phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the show.
Hannah, what's it like directing the playwright of a show?
This one's a challenge. It's a really ambitious piece, I think, because it does jump through time, and it's a tour that's going to quite small theatres. So we've got to kind of pack a lot into the show. We'll be using kind of projection design to help us kind of tell the story. But I'm really looking forward to it. I met with the composer of the show this morning, and we've been listening to music together that sort of inspired us, and looking at different references and kind of listening to folk music and kind of music that's rooted in place as well. So it's also really inspiring. And also the play does have a lot of fun and comedy in it as well. Like, I think people from the Midlands, I think we can be quite dry and quite like, I think that the sort of humour of kind of, I think we take the mick out of each other really like comfortably and easily. And that really comes across between the two characters, their kind of sense of humour and the way they're able to like be mid-argument and then just sort of drop something that just makes each other laugh and they can't help it. It's got a lot of that in it, and it's got a lot of love in it as well. So it is a love story. So I think there's a lot of reasons why people would come to the show, and like there's a lot to enjoy in the show as well.
But there's a roller coaster of emotions, though. I mean, there is reference to death, suicide, sexual assault, grief, alongside some strong language, with flashing lights, haze, and a full theatre production, which is going to put you into the situation, so you are there alongside the characters and living their lives with them.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, part of the design, which I'm really excited about, is that we're creating like the circle on like the circle imagery of the stone circle is very much baked into all of the design details, and so that sense that the audience will be there in that stone circle with these two characters, like feeling the mist of the moors and seeing those shadows that Phil sees as well. I think that's going to be really visceral.
And it's going to be moving, but as you say, entertaining, light-hearted, and something that will leave you feeling love for the characters, at least their journeys all the way through at the end of the show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a complicated mix of emotions when people come out. And we have, like Ali said, we've got this sort of project that's going alongside it, and we want to make sure we're looking after our audiences as well. So it might be quite a hard watch for some audiences. So we're trying to make sure that we really hold them, and that if they come out of the theatre, there's someone they can talk to. And we're doing post-show Q&As for quite a few of the shows as well, so that it's not a sense of just that's finished and that's done. Like there's a space to kind of people to talk about the show and to kind of reflect on it together, rather than just going off to their own homes and sort of then having whatever they're left with kind of stuck with them.
The tour begins in February at the Curve in Leicester, goes via Stafford, Nottingham, London, Chesterfield and Derby, finishing up in March. 01785 619080 is the box office number for the Gatehouse Theatre. gatehousetheatre.co.uk is how you can get your tickets online. But Ali, just to sum up then, what final thoughts would you give us on the show from your point of view?
I reread it again the other day just to kind of get myself excited about going into rehearsals. I think the thing that the thing that sticks with me about it is that most people can relate to that story of a first love that haunts them, and the sort of the way that we tenderly hold on to that memory. I think that's what I take from it more than anything else. It's about their relationship, and it's about those first flushes of love that you have for that first person that you ever love.
Hannah, for you?
I just hope people come. Like, I hope people come. It's quite difficult, I think, with audiences. Audiences can be nervous about taking a risk on something, but I think this is such a beautiful piece that needs to be seen. And like Ali says, there's so much to relate to and connect to, especially if you live in the Midlands. I think you're going to really, really fall in love with these characters. So please take a punt and come and see something different. Like, you know, you can watch a musical anytime. Come and see a new play that really needs an audience.
Can I just add as well that that we're doing a Q&A on the Monday the 23rd, but at both of those performances on the 23rd and 24th, we'll be signposting people in the audience to loads of different mental health services in the Staffordshire area, and some of those will be represented on the Q&A panel on the Monday. So it's be a really good opportunity for people to understand a bit more about the services that are available in their local area.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is the 23rd and 24th of February, Stafford Gatehouse, the one closest to us here, 01785 619 gatehousetheatre.co.uk. Get your tickets, go along, be emotionally moved, amused, and also look at how challenges affect different people and learn from the experience that you have as part of the show. Hannah Stone and Ali Michael, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, on the 2nd of February at the Stafford Gatehouse, Janet Street Porter is off the leash. She's with me now to tell me a little bit about the show that's going on. How are you doing?
I'm a little bit disheveled. I've I woke up earlier. I came back from Egypt on Monday on holiday, and I'm just a bit struggling first thing in the morning. So I'm in Winchester now. I did a show in Winchester last night, and tonight I'm doing a show near Brighton in Shoreham, and they're going really well. And then the 2nd of February, I'm coming back up your way to Stafford. To the Gatehouse Theatre. So I'm in the middle of my tour. I'm enjoying it.
Well, yeah. Well, when we caught up before Christmas, I mean, you were preempting the tour, and this is something which, I mean, I know you take seriously, but you don't take seriously either. It is about enjoying sharing stories, but really just being able to go off on one and be you.
I know what's gone really, really well is the audience feedback has been tremendous, absolutely tremendous. And you know, it's really interesting because obviously I've played in quite different kinds of places. And I've played in just Guildford, south of London. I've played in London. I've played very different kind of venues, Birmingham, Cheltenham, and so on. But the reaction everywhere has been very, very good. And people have come up to me and said that the stories that I've been telling in my show totally relate to them. The woman came up to me last night and she said, I thought you were talking about me, about my childhood. Because I'm talking about growing up in the 1950s, what it was like having parents who come out of the war. And obviously my parents were, you know, a bit peculiar because they were married to other people, but they didn't tell anybody. I was, you know, they left their partners, which we don't know very much about, and they had me, and they were quite secretive, weird people. Anyway, the other thing I talk about, which makes people laugh a lot, is the terrible food in the 1950s, the terrible, terrible food that you ate, and the way that your mum pretended she could cook when she had no bloody idea whatsoever. Anyway, it was interesting last night to have people say, you know, you were just talking about my childhood. I also talk about starting out in journalism, you know, working in television, going into television, you know, when I was, it was a business that was run by men, really. It was quite a tough time.
Yeah, and it's been a journey of a career. But even, I mean, just back on the childhood thing, I mean, even mentioning the fact that when we get blurb about these shows, it tells us something. A Welsh-speaking budgie is apparently part of your childhood. I mean, what's going on there?
My mother was Welsh and she missed everything about Wales. So she met my dad in North Wales before the start of the war. I think he was on some training course or something. When he came back from the war, they went to live in inner London in a house, half of a house that they had no money, and one of his relatives found them a bit of the ground floor bit of a house. But my mum missed Wales, and so she sent for her sister. Her youngest sister was taken out of school and came to live with us. And my mother and her sister spoke Welsh all the time. And my mother got a budgerigar and spoke Welsh, taught the budgerigar Welsh. But my dad, my sister, and I never spoke Welsh, didn't know it, weren't taught it. So it was like a very strange at meal times, to say the least.
I can imagine. But I mean, back onto the career thing, and obviously, as you said, a male-dominated industry, and it needed shaking up. And I think from every angle, you've done that.
Yes, and I think also that I talk about in the show the class thing about coming from a working class background and not really, because I was always extremely ambitious and not a very, I was a child who wrote very detailed diaries. They're part of the show as well. I've got some very, very funny teenage diaries that we show pictures of and I read out. And I record all that stuff of being a teenager, growing up, going to clubs 3 nights a week, battles with my parents because I was going up to the West End of London, to Soho, to jazz clubs and rhythm and blues clubs. And I really loved music. And I was lucky enough to grow up at a time when there was a great influx of great performers coming over from America, blues masters, and also the bands like the Rolling Stones and the Yardbirds were just starting. So that was all going on, which really contributed to a big war with my parents. Obviously, I did start studying architecture, but then I took a year off and got a job on a magazine. And I was immediately snapped up by the Daily Mail and given a job as deputy fashion editor when I was about 22 years old. And it was a shock because in college, I suppose it was the swinging 60s and, I was surrounded by men at college. There were 95 boys to 5 girls. But when I got to the Daily Mail, it was more or less the same. I mean, the only women were working in the women's pages, and there was 1 or 2 women correspondents, but mostly the newsroom was all, men in white nylon shirts with string vests on underneath. I mean, it was not, it was a tough time, but I made it, I made humour out of it. And then I went onto the radio when commercial radio started at LBC in the 70s. And then I suppose my television career started in 1975 when I was asked to host a show for young people. So at the start of this show, I say it's kind of historic. I've been in television 50 years now, hosting shows and presenting shows and writing newspaper columns and stuff. And I've never stopped having opinions. So if you want to hear them, you'll have to come along.
Absolutely. Come along, join in, hear some opinions, and it'd be part of an experience of. And I think the number of years you've worked in these, we can't get away from the fact that you're 80 this year.
I've got away from the fact, but you've brought it up.
Sorry,
it's only January.
You're down to earth enough to do that, but it's a few months away yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't look like your average 80-year-old or anything. I mean, I don't think like one. I mean, I certainly don't act like one. But then I was always a very irritating child who wouldn't fit in. So don't be surprised about that.
But again, I think though that things come with experience, and you have not only gained so much experience but created those experiences for others. You talk about it with your youth programming. You gave people access to a medium which was quite stuffy in the 70s. We forget how interactive the world of media is today.
Absolutely. I mean, when I did my programs for young people on the London Weekend Show, we did episodes, we did a film every week, half-hour documentary. So as much as all the films get repeated now about punk and my films with Johnny Rotten and The Clash and so on, we also made films about teenage lesbians and army deserters and young people who couldn't get a job and young socialists and people starting political parties. So we did all that as well, and there was no one else doing it at that time. And then when I went on to the BBC, I did Network 7 for Channel 4, which was a big youth programme, 2 hours long every Sunday. When Jane Hewland, who created it with me, when we started that programme, it was like a revolution with the graphics and the fast-moving camera work. And that still influences television today. I mean, it rightly won loads of awards, and it still affects how you look at adverts and graphics on television. And, it changed television for good. So what I feel now about still working in the media is I'm not frightened of change. That's why I can be 79 and not be a misery. I can be 79 and think, oh, more stuff's coming, bring it on. I don't see change as negative. I get fed up with people catastrophizing about Britain and saying that, everything's going down the dumper and nothing's been bad. I suppose I feel like saying to those people, well, try being my parents. They came out of the war. My dad lost her father when she was 14. He was severely injured in a quarry accident and died. And he had three daughters, and they took in a foster, looked after other people's daughters as well. So there was this family in North Wales with no money. They didn't moan, they just got on with it. My mother left school and got a job in Manchester. So I find now a lot of the things people saying the country's going down the dumper. You must get out of this mindset. It isn't going down the dumper. If you don't like politicians and you don't like the politics, vote differently.
Yeah, and it's an interesting time ahead, I think, and I'm looking forward to your political party, which I think there's going to be quite a following for if you ever do feel like going in that direction. So you never know. It'd mean you couldn't do loose women anymore,
No.
though, would it? That's the thing.
Oh, no. Well, I'm doing loose women every week I can at the moment. I did it yesterday and I'm doing it next week as well. So, yeah, I like being on television still because you get a lot of feedback from the audience, and I don't want to lose connection with the public, definitely.
And I think they want to keep in touch with you, and they can do this by going along to see Janet's reporter Off The Leash, and that's, as we say, at the Stafford Gatehouse Theatre. Gatehousetheatre.co.uk is the website. 01785 619080, the box office number to grab tickets. They're priced at £30. There is a booking fee. It's 7:30 on the 2nd of February. Be there, Janet will, and it'll be an absolutely educational, inspiring, entertaining, and absolutely completely mad night, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, you'll be right there. And you can ask me questions. There's a whole section where you can ask me questions, anything you like.
Well, that sounds like it's going to be an absolute treat. Janet, great to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. Have a fantastic time on the road. We love seeing you on telly, and long may that continue into at least your 100th year.
I like the idea of that. Thanks. Bye.
Now, when it comes to lack of sleep, stress and brain fog can leave us feeling a bit burnt out. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Dr. Mara Ali, a wellness expert, and Anna Richardson, TV presenter and mental health campaigner. Good afternoon to you both.
Hello, how are you?
All good here. Anna, good to see you again, and Mara, good to have you along. First of all, Anna, when it comes to losing sleep, as you're the Diane of dangly bits on Naked Attraction, was there anything that caused you to lose sleep there?
Let me tell you, the things that I have seen, I haven't slept in years.
But on the serious side of things, stress can be a problem. And as we've seen Blue Monday this week, the most depressing day of the year, research is suggesting that millions of us have poor mental well-being due to the fact that we can't get a good 40 winks.
It's not just January that's bringing us down, because there's new research from ExoMind that's discovered that our stress levels for most of us are off the scale most of the time. And the stats are really quite extraordinary from this research. So think about this. 82% of people are now saying that they can't sleep properly, and 3/4 of people are saying that they're totally stressed out because this is now affecting them cognitively and they have brain fog. Now, that's something that I can personally identify with. I totally get that.
So, yeah, brain fog can be a thing, and something which can really mess up how you feel about yourself and about the rest of the world too. And Dr. Marwa, I mean, when we do suffer from lack of sleep, this really does hit us hard, both physically and mentally.
Yes, most certainly. I think sleep is imperative, and good quality sleep is really important for you to feel, your best self. It has a knock-on effect on so many different parts of your life, even like your focus and concentration, your ability to function properly. And so if you're unable to sleep very well, you're going to feel rotten in the morning. And so it affects the rest of your day, it affects your mood, how you're able to go about your day-to-day life and achieve your goals. And if you can't achieve your goals, you're just going to feel rubbish about yourself. And, that's how it perpetuates a cycle of low mood, stress and depression.
It almost feels a bit like a hangover from the rest of life.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that.
And I know, I mean, when you're looking at your world and everything that's going on in it, obviously you've got a very busy lifestyle with TV shows, all the presenting work, everything else that you do. How do you start to manage that sort of thing to avoid it bringing you to a burnt out state? Because you can't be burnt out. That's how it works.
Exactly. So I do have a bit of a toolkit around me. And also, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a qualified cognitive hypnotherapist and I'm training at the moment in clinical hypnosis and CBT. So I know quite a lot about this and I take my mental health really, really seriously. So the three things that I would suggest and that I'm trying out at the moment, because you're right, I've got to try and keep on top of my mental wellness. But I take a very high strength vitamin D supplement every day because most of us are very, very low in it. And actually, lots of people don't realise it's a hormone. It's not, we call it a vitamin, but actually it converts to a hormone in our bodies and affects everything from our mood to our immune system, to our sleep, to everything. So I take a very high strength vitamin D supplement. I do a lot of green therapy. So I do mindful walking. We're programmed to be outside, to take notice of our surroundings, of nature. It's evidence-backed for good mental health and it's free. But I'm also really interested in new technology when it comes to mental wellness, and treatments that are out there. So I'm currently trying out some treatments called ExoMind, which uses magnetic waves in a targeted way on your brain to improve your cognitive performance, your sleep, and my brain fog at the moment. And I have to say, I've had 4 treatments so far, and it's quite remarkable how much better I feel. So there's quite a few things that I trial in my pursuit of feeling more mentally acute.
That sounds like a good way of doing things. And Marwa, obviously, we need to make sure we take a good overall holistic approach. It's not just about avoiding the stress of work, because we have to sort of manage it too. And as talking about this ExoMind, having had an MRI scan, and you're not supposed to be able to feel it. I'm sure I could feel something going on there. I know that's just my mind playing tricks on me, but magnetism does affect the body, doesn't it?
Most certainly. So with ExoTMS, it utilizes magnetic energy. It's non-invasive and it basically delivers energy to the part of the brain that's responsible for regulating your emotions, your sleep regulation, as well as your focus and concentration. And those 3 things are really imperative for you to feel your best self. So if you're sleeping well, you're waking up feeling really bright and energetic. If your focus and concentration is on point, you're able to achieve your day-to-day tasks perfectly. And if your emotional regulation is on point, you're less likely to be reactive, impulsive, and people will receive you better, and overall your whole quality of life is improved significantly.
I have to jump in here and just say off the back of what Marwa said, she's absolutely right about the emotional regulation, because I've been trying out these ExoTMS sessions. And last night, my other half, we were lying in bed, my other half was really stressed out about something and he was getting stressed with me. And normally I would probably at midnight rip his face off. And I was so calm. really, really calm. So it's really interesting, actually, how these magnetic waves are working on our brains, and it definitely makes you feel calmer. It's a good thing.
Yeah, and actually the effects of these treatments are cumulative. So the more you have, the more you're emotionally resilient, and the more you feel like you can conquer the world. You feel very determined, motivated, and your whole overall emotional well-being is improved significantly. I've had several sessions over the course of the last few months, and I have to say I found it truly life-changing. It's completely turned my life around. I feel super energetic. I feel like I can conquer the world. And actually, maybe people who have been following my journey in my career can see online how much more motivated I am and how much more I'm achieving. I think it's such a great treatment option for people who really want to change their life around.
And also, again, just to jump in, the fact that what's interesting about this technology and using magnetic waves, it's drug-free, right, Marwa? Because a lot of us rely on antidepressants or some kind of pharmacological way to try and tackle our low mood. Obviously, I would always endorse therapy as well, but this is a very interesting route to take that is non-invasive and non-pharmacological, which is interesting.
And those who do take medications can also try this alongside it. So it doesn't mean that you have to stop any treatments that you are having medically, but it's a great add-on or a great treatment in isolation.
Where can we go for more information?
If you need to know more, then obviously just in terms of mental wellness anyway, I would always point people to nhs.uk, Every Mind Matters, and also btlaesthetics.com if they want to know more.
Check those details there. And of course, we can find out both your journeys online. What are your socials?
So I'm at Dr._Marwa Ali.
And I'm at Anna Richardson.
Always good to see you, Anna. Nice to meet you, Marwa. Long may your health continue. And Anna, I might well be in touch for some hypnotherapy in the not too distant future.
Absolutely. See you soon, my love. I think last time I saw you, you were at the were you at the oh my god, the
we did the NEC for a festive gift fair. Yeah, we were doing Christmas, and now we're chilling in there we go. Right, I'll see you soon. Ta-ra for now.
Okay, see you soon. Bye. Bye.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 866 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar.